Build up to Black Friday with savings all month long at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select major appliances, plus take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to pick up holiday inflatables under $20. Don't wait to save, in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
In Louisiana, some female inmates are taking up residence in the state's most notorious prison. In Baltimore, an investigation from a 1969 cold case leads to police exhuming a body, and the FBI executes a sting on a Mississippi man planning a rape. These stories and more coming at you today, Friday, December 15th on Real Life Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino. Friday, boys.
Friday.
9 more shopping days.
Yeah.
Something like that, I think. Guess what I'm getting to do this weekend?
What you do?
I'm going to go see Tommy Cutlets play against the Saints on Sunday.
Really? Cool. Who's he play for?
You don't know who Tommy Cutlets is?
Never heard of him. I missed it. Oh, is it Cincinnati's backup of the backup?
No. So my Giants have won 3 games in a row. And they've won 3 games in a row playing a quarterback by the name of Tommy DeVito, who is an undrafted quarterback who they signed for $20,000.
Who's Tommy Cutlet?
Is he Danny DeVito's brother?
So he lives at home with his mother, and she makes his bed, makes his meals, and his favorite thing is her chicken cutlets. So it's become this thing now with his nickname being Tommy Cutlets, and it's going bonkers in New York. I mean, they're selling Tommy Cutlet shirts like there's no. My son's coming home from school today, and he's like, "Dad, can we go buy some cutlets and bring them to the game? And when the Giants score, throw cutlets." I'm like, I don't think we can get into the Superdome with a bunch of cutlets in our bag, but we can
be interesting to try.
We can try that one. So I'm looking forward to that. But I heard something I knew you were going to be interested in, Woody, and I was shocked by this. NBC has only got one playoff game this year that they are going to be covering, and they are putting it strictly on the cock.
On the cock.
And so, that's shoving the cock down people's throats. Right? Is what that is.
That's force feeding the cock.
That's force feeding the cock.
You got to go watch the playoff.
If you're going to watch that game, you have to watch it on the cock. I just thought that.
Everybody's getting into that though. Like Thursday night, it's on Prime now and different shit. And I can't even keep up.
Well, that's one where though. I mean, it's not like they do one-off. So you've got to go buy a month of the cock in order to watch that game. And so you talk about leveraging content for money. They're leveraging one playoff game for a month of cock.
I get it. Thank goodness I already have a subscription to the cock.
Yeah, I know you do. They are having a special, though, where you can open an OnlyFans account with your subscription on the cock for.
My phone will not let me download OnlyFans. I don't. It sends me a confirmation email that never comes.
That's because it's got your best interests at heart.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
There's nothing. Nothing for you to gain there.
I want to wish bon fête à toi. Happy birthday to you in Cajun French, to the crazy Cajun herself. My wife, Wendy Chapman, is
happy birthday.
49 years young. She doesn't mind. She's not vain like that. She don't mind. She looks 25, so she's proud to say I'm 49.
Happy birthday, Wendy.
Yeah, 49
know
trips
your
around the
birthday,
sun.
and I won't say why. I know your birthday. Happy birthday, Wendy. We love you.
I'm going to a debutante ball, too. I didn't mention that.
Hey, real quick, crime-related. Kayla Larison sent in I guess it was on Facebook, to Real Life Real Crime Daily page on Facebook, and she asked a question. She says, "Hey, Woody, question about polygraphs. Would it be affected by my pregnancy?" Kayla, if you find a polygraphist that could give you a polygraph when you're pregnant, you sue the fuck out of them. You're not that don't do it. The reason they don't do that is because lawsuits have happened in the past where polygraphists have given pregnant women the test, and they end up having miscarriage, and they come back and they sue the polygraphist, saying that the stress of the test caused the deal. So I don't test pregnant women, period. So I would suggest that they can wait, 9 more months. If it's a security clearance or something like that and you want to do it, that's on you, but I wouldn't fuck with it. But thank you for the question, Kayla. Let's get into some true crime time for Friday.
All right, and we're going to start out right here in Louisiana. And anticipating a housing crunch, Louisiana's prison system last week moved 18 incarcerated women into a building at the all-male state penitentiary known as Bloody Angola.
Bloody Angola. Listen to the podcast, people, by Jim Chapman and Woody Overton.
There you go. It's the same building recently used to hold incarcerated youth in the juvenile justice system. Now,
used to be deaf, right?
There you go. The Department of Public Safety and Corrections said it was forced to transfer the women to make room for 3 girls, aged 16 and 17, at the women's prison at the old Jetson Center for Youth in Baker. The relocation is expected to be temporary. All the women are supposed to return to Jetson in about a month once the expansion has been completed. In all, there are about 430 women at the Jetson prison. The department is currently preparing another facility at the location for the adult offenders, which is expected to take place in approximately a month. Now, Louisiana's prison for women did not have enough space to accommodate the 3 underage girls apart from the adults, so it moved a small group of adult women to Angola, while officials rearranged space at Jetson to fit everyone. The girls coming into the prison system, Brenya Baker, 17, Laniera Pedophile, 16, and Markel Curtis, 16, pled guilty last month to charges of attempted manslaughter in the high-profile murder case of Linda Fricky, which y'all remember we reported on this show several times. Yeah. Fricky was a 73-year-old grandmother who was killed during a carjacking gone awry in 2022, where the girls and a male by the name of John Honore dragged Fricky from her stolen car for several blocks after she got tangled in the seatbelt. Yep.
Yeah.
Unlike adult prisons, juvenile justice facilities and treatment centers are supposed to focus, kind of entirely on rehabilitation, but children's advocates consider them more appropriate for young people whose brains aren't fully developed. There's been pressure on prosecutors to treat minors as if they're adults in response to a perceived surge in crime, especially when they are suspected of committing heinous crimes like Fricky's murder. Still, sentencing the teenagers doesn't mean they can be treated exactly like adult prisoners. As a matter of fact, the Federal Prison Rape Elimination Act forces the state to offer protection to underage people to shield them from sexual abuse. Minors shall not be placed in a housing unit in which youthful inmates might have sound, sight, or physical contact with any adult inmate, or they share a day room or common space, shower area, or sleeping area with adults.
Stole my thunder on that one.
Yeah, so prison officials basically say that this is going to be a month-long thing, but, they move those there's lawsuits going on where they move the underage boys out of Angola.
Right.
And now they're moving adult females into Angola because they're having to do all these swaps because the prisons are full.
Now, will those 18
no
women...
room at the end,
will those 18 women have any contact with men at Angola?
Not supposed to.
Not supposed to, but who knows?
Well, the men are currently scamming on how they get contact with those 18 women.
Women are scamming the same way. Both sides get horny.
That's right.
And,
yeah.
But just so you're clear again, it's illegal to house a juvenile with an adult criminal, with a convict, and Jim covered that really well.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what transpires.
In
but
that
big
otherwise
deal.
shameless plug for your other podcast.
Yep. Bless Bloody Angola by Jim Chapman and Woody Overton. I'm sorry, the award-winning Best History.
That's right.
In, Bloody Angola. Hey, you know what? Passwords are the bane of my existence. Like the cock, I'm sure I'll have to look up the password for whatever it is because my shit gets changed all the time, unbeknownst to me. But Netflix, I don't really watch regular TV. I watch all the, streaming channels, and Netflix being one of them. And I'm going to take you to Baltimore, and they actually did a series on it on Netflix called The Keepers. It was a documentary series about this crime when this murders back in 1969. But let me tell you about it real quick. So some breaking news because of the Keepers of the documentary, but the FBI investigators are planning to exhume the body of a young woman whose unsolved 1969 killing has been a source for widespread speculation since it's been on that documentary I told you about, The Keepers. And The Keepers looked into the slaying of a Baltimore nun that unfolded days earlier under eerily similar circumstances. So Joyce Malecki went Christmas shopping in November of 1969 at a mall outside of Baltimore, and she never came home. Her body was found on a military base just days later, and an autopsy determined she had been strangled, right? And she buried in Baltimore, and the family has confirmed that as of Tuesday that they're going to FBI is going to exhume the body, and it's planned for actually Thursday. And like I said, the case received renewed attention after The Keepers was released in 2017, raising questions about whether Malecki's disappearance was linked to that of the murder of the nun, Sister Kathy Sesnick, who was found dead from blunt force trauma after she went shopping and never returned. So it's kind of the same MO. But also in 2017, the investigators exhumed the body of a Catholic priest, Father Joseph Maskell, to see if his DNA matched the evidence from the scene of Sesnick's death. And the documentary questions whether Sesnick was killed because she knew Maskell was sexually abusing students at the local high school, right? It's just crazy, that story. But the CBS in Baltimore investigation revealed many of the victims, the sexual abuse victims, had confided in Sister Sesnick just before her murder. But the DNA testing on the priest didn't match in the case, and so the case remains unsolved. Now the feds are getting into it and looking to the homicide of the 16-year-old Pamela Connors, who went missing in 1970 from the same shopping mall as Malecki and died from strangulation. I submit to you, in the 70s, in 69 to 70s, it's got to be the same person, right? I mean, it's the same mall. There's no such thing as coincidence, not like that, especially not back then. So now they're using new DNA technology and genealogy research, and they've identified a suspect in Conyers' death, who is Flores Clyde Williams III, who died in 2018 of natural causes. And he has nothing on his record but a couple minor criminal charges over the rest of his entire life. So it's an ongoing thing. I think it's pretty cool.
And he didn't have anything to do with the church?
They didn't say, but he ended up moving to Virginia. So I don't know. I mean, maybe he did it afterwards. But anyway, they're going to get DNA from Malecki's body and do this genealogy DNA and everything, and it's just pretty interesting, I think. Yeah. Can you imagine exhuming a body after 54 years?
I don't see how there would be even any DNA left to collect.
Oh, well, you know what? I've taken apart and exhumations, whatever you want to call them, and some bodies are like almost pristine, and some of them are all just shriveled and down to nothing. But you got bones and stuff. Nowadays they can go inside and get it from almost anything. I mean, it's not like the early 90s where you could just get one type of DNA. Now they can get it from
even teeth, right?
Anything.
It's totally crazy, and the science of where things have been. My son graduates next year from LSU in anthropology, and they're going on a dig this summer, I believe it is, to somewhere where it's a hotbed for like dinosaurs and all that, and they're gonna dig and do all these things. But you can go back to dinosaur age and pull it off. I'm sure you could from 54 years ago. Yeah. But it just blows my mind that science has come that far in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's a shame that it took a documentary on Netflix to get the people to go back and spend the money to do this. I mean, obviously the bad guy's dead, whoever he was, if he was in his 20s, or 30s.
Yeah. And 69?
Yeah. I mean, that's my age. I'm 54, so.
Yep.
Yeah, but, I mean, you're 50-something years, 54 years older.
Right.
So you could have been 20, you would be 74.
Yeah, but could have been 20, could have been 30, could have been 40.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdowns scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Okay, well, this is a tough one. Let's go to Mississippi. A Mississippi pedophile who couldn't wait to rape a baby has been arrested after driving hundreds of miles to allegedly fulfill his sick fantasy. This guy's name is Dennis Allen Gall. And Gall was back again doing what he had started 25 years ago with his 2-year-old nephew and other extremely young children. This guy went to jail for 10 years beginning in August of 2000 for sexually abusing a 2-year-old. At the time, he confessed to a friend after she asked him if he had ever raped anyone, and he responded that it depended on her definition of rape. Gall claimed that the boy, this 2-year-old, back in 2000, was the one who made the sexual advances towards him,
right?
And the 2-year-old requested the sex. Mm-hmm. The friend told Gall if he didn't tell the boy's mother, she would, and she followed through 2 weeks later when Gall didn't. The shocked mother asked her son if he had touched his babysitter's, Gall was the babysitter, his babysitter's penis, to which he replied, "No, Mama, he's been doing it to me. He put his ding-a-ling in my mouth, and he made me put my ding-a-ling in his mouth, and he peed on me," the boy said, according to court documents going back
the pee would have been ejaculation.
To 2000, yes. The boy's mother and Gall's friend confronted him along with the boy's father and other friends and family, and that's when Gall said, "I guess I'm guilty." So somehow he was under the delusion that he was having consensual sex with this 2-year-old.
Right.
However, he again claimed he was the victim and had allowed the boy to perform oral sex on him. The child's mother called the police 2 days later, and this is back in April 16th of 1999. The boy told officers about even more horrifying things that Gall had done to him. Gall stuck to his story that the boy was the one who molested him, but a jury unanimously found him guilty. Okay, so that was 2000. So fast forward 23 years. Gall's now 49. He thought he was meeting a fellow pervert in Chattanooga, Tennessee at some hotel on Monday night. The meeting's purpose was to abuse a 10-month-old boy. Gall salivated over raping the infant and planned what he called, quote, "the best trip I've ever taken" from his home in Picayune. He even sent photos of 5 baby outfits and a rattle shaped like an elephant he promised to bring with him as gifts. But as he shared his disturbing plans for the hotel room meeting, he never suspected he was speaking to an undercover FBI agent. The agent said he began talking to Gall back on November 12th when he joined a private Telegram group, an app Gall preferred, quote, for fear of being caught. This is a second recent story that we've had where this Telegram app was involved and did a little research on that. And we'll talk about that at the end for just a second. Gall expressed sexual interest in boys aged 0 to 12, but they, quote, can be older if they look younger, he allegedly said. The agent suggested he had a very young boy, an infant, available if Gall was interested. Gall said he, quote, wouldn't hurt the baby, but would love to play. The agent asked Gall if he wanted to have sex with the infant, and Gall responded that he would, quote, love to see if it happens. Quote, looks like I may have to take a trip to Tennessee sometime soon, Gall said. Gall gave the undercover agent his phone number and booked 2 rooms at the Hotel Chalet in Chattanooga as they set up this meeting. He told the agent his birthday was December 11th, and he was keen to celebrate it with the sordid road trip. That sounds awesome. I can't wait. This is looking to be the best trip I've ever taken. Well, Gall never got his rocks off in Rock City, and he never saw 7 states from a top Lookout Mountain. Instead, the FBI was waiting for him the moment he checked into his hotel room. The guy was released from prison in 2010 and obviously was registered as a sex offender. But do we really think he abstained from abuse for 13 years until this opportunity came up?
Never.
As far as the Telegram app goes, it bills itself as a free, secure messaging and audio calling cloud-based app that allows you to send messages, photos, videos, and files to any type of any type to your contacts. But here's the kicker. You can also create groups of up to 200,000 people, and Telegrams become popular because it doesn't require a phone number for use. So you can create these groups, you can be talking to all kinds of people, and you're never having to give away your phone number. So, I mean, that's an app people need to start looking into because we've seen two of these cases.
I mean, this dude is just brings back
sick
so
beyond
many
all imagination of sickness.
So many memories of getting confessions out of people like him where I have to play it off like, oh, but dude, I get it. She's hot. Like talking about a 4-year-old, and they'd be like, yeah, she is hot, and I totally get it why you did it to her, and because she's that freaking hot. The shit I used to have to do, you know. Yeah. And then these motherfuckers get off on, oh yeah, they're hot, and I'm even talking about a fucking 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, or and this dude, come on, man, somebody put a bullet in his head. Hey, if you're listening in Tennessee, which is I imagine where he's locked up at. Somebody call a jail. Tell those guys what he's in there for, please. Get some prison justice.
Get it quick.
Yep.
And I'm shocked. I mean, he obviously is a registered sex offender when he comes out, but 13 years, who knows what shit he did in that 13
some
years.
states are very strict, and I never could get it passed in Louisiana, and I never understood why it wasn't passed, but a lot of states have, as part of the convicted sexual criminal parole, it's intensive psychotherapy, intensive parole follow-up, more scrutiny than they get, and they have to be polygraphed. There's actually sex offender testing called PSCI in Louisiana, and they make them test 3 times a year on it, and they make them the convict pay for the testing. I don't know why. I know that people feel how they feel about polygraphs. Fuck that. If it keeps one of them honest from raping a baby.
Right.
Because they don't stop mentally. They just that castration bullshit, that doesn't work. It's still mental.
That's right.
99% mental.
That's right. Well.
Tough one, y'all.
Very
real
tough.
life, real crime.
Yeah. You ever play Clue? Either one of y'all?
Loved it.
Yeah, not in a long time.
I haven't played it in probably 30 or 40 years. I used to love it.
Figure out who did it, where they did it, what weapon they did it with.
And then in the whatever with a cannon.
Dining room with a candelabra. Right.
Well, after you hear this story, the people, Milton Bradley or whoever makes Clue, may come up with a new manner of, how somebody died, and that would be with a golf club.
What?
Possibly, because a 44-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of murder for beating a store employee and impaling him with a golf club. Impaling him on Friday of last week. Minneapolis, Minnesota police responded to a stabbing call and found a 66-year-old man at a store behind a counter with a golf club impaled in his torso.
So, impaled. He got stuck.
Jabbed with a golf club, which is not exactly, sharp.
Yeah, right.
So that tells you the force there. Medics arrived at the scene and transported this guy to the nearby hospital where he died. Witnesses provided details about the suspect, and officers quickly located him at an apartment nearby. The suspect barricaded himself inside the building, which resulted in SWAT team being called out, bomb squad, and even a drone unit coming in for assistance. The suspect was surrounded after 6 hours. The victim had been identified as Robert Scaft and the suspect as Taylor Schultz. Schultz was booked on a charge of second-degree murder. Scaft was found in a pool of blood on the ground in what was known as the Oak Grove Grocery, with wounds to his head and face, as well as a golfed shaft in his torso. Schultz reportedly lived in the apartment building across the street from the grocery store, and one of the residents told police he lived on the 16th floor. Surveillance video obtained by detectives showed Schultz beating Scaft, then choking and punching him, and then he hit Scaft in the head multiple times with the golf club, then impaled him when the head of the golf club fell off.
I was just wondering how in the hell.
Oh, there it is. He was just beating him about the head and face, broke the damn head of the golf club off, and then decided to stick him with it. Minnesota police detectives obtained a search warrant to search his apartment and found clothing they believe Schultz wore when the incident occurred. He was believed to have been washing the blood off with soap. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said the video shows Schultz seemed to have gone behind the counter and began to assault and bludgeon the individual behind the counter in a very grotesque way. That's how he described it.
Crazy.
I would have to agree. Scaff was a talented and revered dancer who actually performed with the West Side School of Ballet at the Kansas City Ballet before he was murdered.
And what they said the motive was?
They didn't release a motive. They've got basically a video of him just beating the shit out of this guy with a golf club and impaling him, and
that is like
a motive isn't clear
one
yet.
Of the weirdest ways. We ought to have a weirdest way list.
That's a Steven Seagal type way. That's like right out of a Seagal movie.
Break your shit down until you break it off, and then, geez Louise.
Yeah, 66-year-old man.
Yeah.
That.
44
44-year-olds all over.
It was like that sex story Mike just did. And the 44-year-old would say he deserved it. He was asking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking sick.
Golf club.
Impaled by a shaft.
I do have my golf shoes on today, though.
Well, and they're sharp as hell. If you knock the head off of a driver and you've got that graphite shaft and it's just jagged metal at the bottom. I mean, You guys remember a few months back when we talked about this former chef Kenneth Law in Canada who was sending out these kits,
death kits,
these suicide kits? Yeah,
no.
well,
I don't remember.
Well, let us refresh you.
Actually, I do. Yeah,
I can assure you're about to.
That story, when we did it, claimed that at least 272 people in Britain had purchased products from Law's websites, and that 88 of those people had died. The online packages allegedly sold by Law include sodium nitrate, a common food additive that's lethal but painless when used in excess. So we learned at the time that several other countries had also launched investigations into this guy. Well, now, finally, the former Canadian chef is being charged at home. He's charged with 14 counts of murder related to suicides in Canada as a result of his online scheme. The charges filed against Law are on top of 16 other charges he already faces for counseling or aiding suicides in Ontario province. Law was arrested in May for marketing masks and sodium nitrate. In June, the Canadian police released photos of the sodium nitrate, adding that a joint operation led by 11 police agencies from across Ontario were investigating the case. He's believed to have sent as many as 1,200 packages to people across 40 countries. Perhaps the most disturbing here is that the 14 Canadian victims Law is accused of murdering were all between the ages of 16 and 36. Canada has a program called MAID, M-A-I-D, which stands for Medical Assistance in Dying. These are doctor-assisted suicides, legal euthanasia. To be eligible for MAID, you must have a serious illness, disease, or disability, be in an advanced state of decline that cannot be reversed, be experiencing unbearable physical and mental suffering, or be in a state of decline that cannot be relieved under conditions that you consider acceptable. That's all the rules around these assisted suicides. In 2021, there were 10,029 MAID deaths in Canada,
I didn't know that.
which was up by 34.7% from 2020. The first time we discussed this guy, I remember Woody saying something like, I want to see the ages of the people he's selling his product to because you were suspicious that he was marketing to a crowd that wouldn't be eligible for something like MAID, and you were right.
I also said they're going to come out and hit him for a whole bunch more jurisdictions, especially small departments that don't know anything about this stuff.
Well, it sounds like Italy is the next country where they've got a number of deaths that they're coming after him as well. Suicide deaths in the United States reach a record high in 2022 with nearly 50,000. U.S. citizens are nearly twice as likely to commit suicide as British citizens, just to give a comparison. But suicide's the number two cause.
Surprising. Yeah.
Number two cause of death in the
thing?
No, because it's per capita.
Okay.
Suicide is the number two cause of death in the U.S. among 10 to 14-year-olds and 25 to 34-year-olds. Suicide rates in the U.S., this I didn't know, are highest in the so-called suicide belt, which consists of Montana, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Idaho.
Really?
That is the suicide belt. Never
heard of it.
Knew that. But what sparked me looking at this story was, we sort of looked at it, at least I did the first time as well, maybe this guy is helping out some people in other countries where they can't get around the law and they're living, suffering, and they're 85 years old. But here we've got him at home making sales to 16 people who kill themselves who are between 16 and 36. And as you also pointed out at the time, who knows how many are buying these to use for murders.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And just freakiness.
Well, they're going to put them away, so... but I'm sure there's somebody else out there who's got a similar concoction.
Small department somewhere don't know anything about it.
Well, let's not gloss over what Mike just said, which was that suicide belt part.
I never heard of that.
That's interesting. I wonder why that is. I wonder if the weather plays.
Weather.
Look, it rains around here.
Pretty much all
for 3 or 4 days, I get depressed. And it's just gloomy. You get that.
Shit, I like to take a nap in the rain. Not in the rain, but while it's raining. Especially with a metal roof.
I don't mind the rain. Metal roof. I don't mind that. But when you go through 3 or 4 days of just gloomy, cloudy weather, yucky weather,
I don't know. Maybe
it'll change your attitude. For sure.
Yeah, but you would see Washington and Oregon being really high.
Maybe it's the wide space or something. I don't know, but I'm going to look it up and get back to y'all.
Yeah, maybe it's the lack of interaction with others. Because
loneliness could be a big part of it. That. It's also in the U.S. 92 point something % is male of suicides.
I believe that.
Men.
I worked 1,000 of them, so
that's interesting as well.
I tell you what's even rarer is for a female to shoot herself. I worked plenty of female suicides, but only a couple with the gunshots because they don't want to mess their face up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pills usually.
One who did it in the closet in an apartment, put towels down and everything, and put her head down and shot herself in the head. She didn't want to make a mess in the apartment. So don't do it, people.
She's like my wife. My wife cleans the house the day before the people come to clean it.
Oh, yeah.
Because she doesn't want them to come to a dirty house because they won't want to come anymore if the house is dirty.
Exactly.
And I'm like, honey, they come to clean.
Mike's like messing stuff up on purpose.
Yeah, right.
I'm not picking that towel up. Got the cleaner coming tomorrow.
Anyway, interesting. Don't do suicide, people. Get help.
Yeah, permanent solution to temporary problem.
Oh, story.
It's Mile High Crime Time. And it is a Friday, Mile High, and an apparent stowaway who somehow flew from Denmark to LAX without a passport, visa, or a plane ticket may face charges.
You think?
You may wonder, how did he do that?
How did he do that?
Sergei Ogava arrived at Los Angeles International Airport via a Scandinavian Airlines flight from Copenhagen. And was not officially listed as a passenger on the flight manifest. As a result, he was detained by immigration at the airport, and they questioned him. They say he gave false and misleading information on his travel process to the United States. According to investigators, Agava told customs officers that he left his passport on the plane. So they go to the plane and no passport. Ogava was arrested on a single count of stowing away on an aircraft. Who knew that was a charge?
Yeah, right.
So the complaint described Ogava as an economist who was able to evade security in Copenhagen and board the flight. A search of his personal belongings revealed a Russian identification card and an Israeli identification card. Ogava claimed he had not been sleeping for 3 days and didn't understand what was going on. Ogava stated he might have had a plane ticket to come to the United States, but he wasn't sure. When asked how he got through security in Copenhagen, Ogava claimed he didn't remember how he went through security without a ticket. He also did not offer an explanation as to how he got to Copenhagen in the first place or what he was doing there. Right. He couldn't remember anything. Now, 3 days, no sleep. might be possible. Flight attendants are quoted as explaining that Agava bounced around from seat to seat during the flight, asking for multiple meals each time they served him.
He's trying to get some girl on.
So not only is he flying without a ticket, he's bouncing from one seat to another and keeps reordering the peanuts, right? So Agava was booked into jail while they try to figure out his situation.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all these fake ID cards.
He's like
Russian
Fletch
or whatever. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that is strange.
Well, they mentioned he was an economist, so maybe he was just trying to prove how good of an economist he was. He got to fly here for nothing and got to have multiple meals on the flight.
Money on him when he got here. Nothing shit like that. Like, what was your game plan?
Yeah.
Besides eating all the, I don't know, what kind of fucking meal.
What was his actual citizenship? Was it Russian or
he had
an Israeli ID and a Russian ID, and I mean, I suspect he was up to no good with all this stuff going on, but then again, maybe not, because if you're up to no good, why are you bouncing from seat to seat trying to get a peanut? Yeah, I mean,
so funny. That is such a bizarre story.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what airport security is like in Copenhagen.
I'm sure. I don't know. That's just bizarre. He might have just done it just for fun. Who knows? Meth might have been involved.
There you go. Well, that's your mile high.
Hey, y'all. Let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin-baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real-life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had.
Kinky
Crimes for Friday.
Are you in the B's yet?
No, I'm not. I hadn't even made it out of the A's, like the low A's. But that is not happening today. I got to blush off some more of that next week, and because it is interesting as fuck, right? But this Kinky Crimes on Friday. We talked about Airbnbs a lot on this show, and this one involves that. So, sex on a balcony for all to see is just one of the many troubling complaints coming from an Airbnb rental in an upscale Texas neighborhood. It's troubling for somebody.
Yeah.
Residents of townhomes valued up over $500,000 are fed up with what they describe as sex parties, violence and drug use happening at the short-term rental. Video that has been circulating shows people having sex on an open balcony at the Airbnb, which is close to an elementary school. Oh. 2 individuals decided to engage in some adult activities right there, right in front of us, right in front of everybody. One neighbor who asked to remain anonymous said, another shocking photo shows a woman wearing a thong outfit strutting along a cobbled pathway. Clips also showed guests at the Airbnb shrieking and screaming at night, while others paying expensive mortgages and rent struggle to relax inside their homes. People who live in the townhomes near Houston's Galleria Mall say This is not what they signed up for when they moved into the posh neighborhood with their kids. It was terrible. This was on a Monday morning. We could have had kids. There's an elementary school just 2 minutes away, a different resident stated. Frustrated homeowners say they've regularly witnessed sex parties, fights, yelling, and half-naked people walking around the Airbnb. They are increasingly alarmed by armed people seen smoking pot illegal in the Lone Star State who block the entrance to their homes. If I can describe in one word what happened in the neighborhood, it's filth. They bring filth to this establishment in the neighborhood, a third resident added. Residents showed records of phone calls and emails to the Houston police with pleas for help after 87 attempts to get the cops to come out and shut down the out-of-control short-term rental. The townhouse still remains in operation.
Did you say 87?
87.
I'm going to need to add
according to the rental listing, the luxury home sleeps up to 10 people and can be reserved for as little as $486 a night.
Hey.
That's a party.
Sounds
right there,
like a
right?
bargain.
You get to trash somebody else's house. Photos of the property show black walls, large mirrors, and beds covered in Chanel bedding.
Hey.
Each bedroom is fitted with silky smooth linens, comfy blankets, and soft pillows that feel like you're sleeping on heaven's clouds, the online post says. The listing specifically spells out that parties are not allowed. Airbnb did not immediately respond for comment regarding the party palace.
The Party Palace. That's what it's called. Oh, I love it.
With those kind of sheets,
I
you
looked
think
that
they'd be
up. The
effing in the
Party
beds instead of on the
Probably,
balconies.
it's probably your local dope dealer, a mid-level dope dealer, and they're like, this is cheaper than a hotel room. I can bring all my hoes and bros over and put 10 people in here for $486 a night instead of 10 people in 5 hotel rooms, right?
Maybe so. But,
Yeah.
you know.
That's crazy. Kinky crimes for Friday.
Party Palace.
Party Palace.
Gotta check that out.
All right.
I think we're going to a new spot on the globe to find a dumb criminal. I don't think we've ever had one from South Africa.
I think we have.
You do? I'll have to go back.
Oh, not a dumb criminal. No, I was saying crime stores. No, man. Go.
Despite his name, Bobby Brightman wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Bobby Brightman.
The low-level crook had spent much of his life in South African prisons. Bobby was a huge fan of the famous South African dish, baba tea. You guys ever have any baba tea?
No.
Actually, they have some places here that sell it, and my daughters love it.
Really?
Yeah.
See that?
Baba tea?
I thought
tea.
it was called boba tea, but
It's
it
tea.
might be baba
I thought
tea.
you meant like
No.
like a
no,
meal
that's
or
not
something.
tea. It's not tea. It's food. Baba tea.
Oh.
It's-
Sounds like tea, though. Sounds like Bobby's tea.
How's it spelled?
Bobby's tea.
B-A-B-O, excuse me, I'm looking at phonetic. It's B-A-B-O-T-I-E, but it's pronounced
Oh, well,
baba
that's
tea.
not the same thing I'm thinking of then.
Okay, so you were thinking of tea. This is
Yeah.
actually food.
Okay.
It's a
Can't wait to hear what this delicious dish must be.
it's mincemeat, got a lot of spices in it, and a lot of garlic apparently, which is a key part of this
Sounds good.
story.
I'd be curious.
So
I'd be
you can
suspicious of the
look up
mincemeat.
B-A-B-O-T-I-E, Woody, while we're going. You can tell us about baba tea. But so he's a huge fan of baba tea, but he'd had to cut back on it in recent years because it's really spicy and garlicky, right? So
Spanish guy.
what'd you say?
Looks like fucking sardines in a can or something.
Okay, no, it's not sardines in a can.
I mean, this way they have it presented.
Okay, back to Bobby Brightman and his baba tea. On a glorious Wednesday afternoon, Bobby, who's now in his mid-40s, decided, what the hell, and hit his favorite baba tea spot, a place called Chewy's, just outside of Johannesburg.
Chewy's.
Bobby hadn't had his favorite in a while, so guess what? He did what we all do. He overindulged.
Right.
He also hadn't planned on robbing a house that afternoon, but the situation was too perfect to resist.
Here we go.
A house he'd been casing for some time was always empty at lunchtime because the married couple that lived there would go out to lunch together every day. And it just so happened that Bobby's path home from Chewy's took him right by that that house that he had been casing. And sure enough, when he went by it, the car was gone, and he assumed the couple was gone. So Bobby parked his scooter on the adjacent block and covered up his face with a hoodie as he walked over toward the home. He approached slowly and didn't see any movement in the house, and to his luck, he didn't see another person anywhere, even on the street or around the neighborhood. He was alone. So he realized this was his lucky day, and when he tried the side entrance to the house, the door wasn't even locked. He just walked right in.
There you go.
So he was now inside, but decided he'd take no risks and go for a quick hit. So he just was going to grab some valuables and get the hell out of there. So he went upstairs and found the primary bedroom. You can't say master anymore. It's primary bedroom. You guys know that. Upstairs, and the walk-in closet. In the walk-in closet, he found a bunch of earrings, bracelets, her jewelry, and a couple of men's watches. And he took all of that stuff, filled his pockets with it, and headed back downstairs toward the door he'd come through. Well, that's when he noticed the homeowners who had just pulled up in their car, walking from their car toward the entrance, the very entrance that he'd used to get in the house. So some quick thinking from Bobby, and he dove under a large sofa in the main sitting room just as the couple came through the door. He figured he'd make a break for it when they left the room. Unfortunately for Bobby, the gentleman decided to sit on the very sofa he was hiding under while the wife headed upstairs. Bobby couldn't tell what the man seated above him was doing, but minutes later, the woman came running down the stairs claiming that they had been robbed. The couple stood together in the room, never giving Bobby a chance to run out. He listened as the man phoned the local police to report the crime. The police would be there soon. He just hoped that the couple would give him an opportunity to escape. Now, the two of them were seated above him together on that couch, and they remained there cataloging the valuables that had been stolen until the police arrived. So Bobby had been under the sofa nearly an hour, and the Bobby was really starting to back up on him.
There he goes.
The woman got up to greet the officers at the door, and now there was an officer seated with her husband above Bobby, while the other officer was seated in a chair across the room, separated from a chair the woman was now sitting in. "Gosh, Harley," the woman said, "what was on the fish you had for lunch?" He replied, she said, I can smell the garlic from here. He said, "It was just lemon and butter, darling. I didn't have any garlic. I was going to ask Officer Petrie if he'd had a heavy garlic lunch." The couple and the cops all looked at each other and shrugged, each denying any garlic-filled lunch had been consumed. Yet none of them could deny the heavy garlic smell filling the room. That's when Officer Petrie heard Bobby burp for the first time. Oh, God. The officer quickly dropped to his knees and peered under the sofa, where he gazed upon Bobby Brightman, laying on his side with his hand covering his mouth. His craving for Bobby tea had done him in, and all Bobby could do now was sit back and listen to the banjos playing in his honor.
Bobby tea.
Garlic could get you every time.
Yeah, garlic. I like
Too
garlic.
much garlic on the Bobby tea.
I like garlic. My mom makes the bomb.com garlic salad.
You looked up Bobby tea and it looked gross to you?
But
It looked pretty good to me.
one of the pictures was in a square dish with some like bay leaves on top of it. It looks like sardines for a second, but it wasn't. This looks like a shepherd's,
It's like a casserole.
shepherd's pie.
Almost.
something.
Yeah, like a shepherd's pie.
Yeah. I'd be suspicious of the kind of mincemeat they got down there in South Africa.
Apparently. Big delicacy down there.
Yeah, I'm sure they got a lot of delicacies down there that I don't want to eat. I'm sure there's a lot of delicacies here that they don't want to eat, like crawfish and oysters and blue crabs,
That's right.
gar balls.
What's the Aussie one? That's Vegemite sandwiches.
Oh,
you ever have a
you know
Vegemite
what?
sandwich?
I shout out to I can't remember her name. Robin Joy. She sent me a can of Vegemite all the way from Australia.
And
I said it on the podcast. I never have it. I still never opened it. I'm sorry.
Don't.
Because of the 80s song. I was like, Vegemite.
Who was the band?
You remember that?
Who was the band?
I can, the men at work.
Men at Work, Woody.
Shit, I know my 80s.
Men
shit.
at work.
I was a man at work in the 80s.
There you go.
Right?
Any final thought?
Yeah. Just love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. And the season is upon us. Just thankful for everybody, right?
Yep.
And then everything rocks.
I'm looking forward to Tommy Cutlets and this game on Sunday.
Yeah,
and,
good luck for that.
And what I love about
what's
this
the spread?
country is that, and my heritage is that we seem to be in this day and age one of the few groups that still loves being given shit by everybody else, because this is nothing but making fun of a guy. There, when he takes the field, they play the Sopranos music. He's got a agent in the stands who looks like a total Goomba. I mean, it's and you know how many great Italian quarterbacks have there been?
What's the spread?
Joe Namath?
They got to be like plus 6 or 7.
Joe Namath wasn't Italian.
He looked Italian.
He does look Italian, but Namath, I mean, he could be.
I think
They
he
could
was
have cut.
Italian.
They could have cut. They cut off part of that last name at Ellis Island, but that's only going to be a couple points. Probably. It's maybe 3 or 4 points.
I bet it's 6 or more.
Well, it was 5.5 against Green Bay on Sunday.
The Saints been whooping some ass, except for
Saints are 6 and 7. Giants are 5 and 8.
Oh yeah, maybe so. Well, you're playing in the dome now.
You're in the dome, so maybe 4 or 5.
Get you some dome phone.
Don't bet against. Don't bet against.
All right, we got to get off.
Back to crime.
Hey, y'all, if you would go leave us a review and all that good podcastership. Make sure you check your subscription button, people. It's a real deal. Apple's fucking it up for everybody, and just make sure you subscribe.
That's right. And
we appreciate y'all.
Happy birthday, Wendy Chapman.
Yeah, Wendy
Happy
Chapman.
birthday, Wendy.
Happy birthday.
And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino,
your host of Real Life, Real Crime Daily. Peace.
Congrats.
Build up to Black Friday with savings all month long at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to pick up holiday inflatables under $20. Don't wait to save, in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.